Could you disprove, for example, that the Martians have bred a race of synthetic humans to save themselves from extinction?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is probably going to be a relatively short video because I want to talk about a particular book that you've probably seen in the title, and it's mostly pictures. So I do want to show you the visuals, but I want to talk about the book because it's an incredible book and I'm so excited to have it. I've wanted it for a while. It's been out for a couple of years and now I have it. It's just what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to go into it a lot, going to pick it up a lot. It's going to be one of those books that, which is like that book. I picked this one up a lot. So this has been well thumbed, you know, and I've had it a long time. I've had this actually since my teenage years. So this is one of my oldest possessions actually. But this one is definitely going to be a book that I look back at a lot. And I think it's a lovely thing. And I think it was quite an ambitious thing. I haven't seen anything like it. It covers so much ground as well. And it's about vintage science fiction book cover art. So I'm talking about Rayguns and Rocketships by Ryan Hughes. But before I show you the contents of the book, I want to talk to you about the significant relationship that science fiction has with artwork and the significance of the science fiction aesthetic, the look that we have in our minds, the imaginations that brought this futuristic look and this futuristic vision in the early days of science fiction that really characterized science fiction in a big way, and it still does now. So these images that were part of science fiction history and part of when it was at an embryonic stage and when it started getting into the golden age, and the beginning of the new wave is in this as well. So this is mostly 40s and 50s, but it goes further as well. There's like a newer version. This is like an updated version. So all of these periods have had this consistency, and there's this science fiction look that we all recognize, and that flowering of imagination, that idea that this is what the future looks like, this is what other planets look like, this is what aliens look like, this is what an astronaut will look like, this is what ray guns look like, and rocket ships, all these different things. This magic really, because this is all imagination. This was all drawn before, and obviously drawn from the. Actually, I was going to say drawn from the text in the books, but actually that's not true because of the way they were commissioned. So I'll say that in a minute. But drawn from the illustrator's imagination, and the images is just magnificent. This is so cool, and I think a lot of people that love science fiction love that aspect of it. You know, this just really cool imagery. The reason why I was going to say about the commission thing is quite funny because what they used to do, the publishers used to commission authors to write a book or a story based on a title they were giving them. And they also did the same for the illustrators. So they'd give the illustrators a title, and obviously most of the time they married up really well, but sometimes they didn't. And it doesn't matter because you had these really cool covers and you had these books that were being written sometimes over a weekend. You know, so these were great examples of pulp fiction. Pulp fiction is called pulp fiction. I don't know if you know this, but it's based, the word pulp being in that definition is because the idea is it wasn't particularly good paper, that it was just thrown out there, supposedly disposable, and written very quickly to be consumed very quickly. Bit of fun, and not particularly expensive paper they're using. So that's why it's called pulp fiction. And obviously all the sort of the men's adventure stuff, you know, them going on to different planets and meeting aliens and rescuing damsels in distress and finding these great discoveries, scientific discoveries. But a lot of the action-based science fiction is that kind of classic pulp science fiction. So that's where a lot of this comes from. There are also tons and tons of really significant, classic, important, more mature, cleverer books in here as well. So this is not just the simple pew 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 science fiction, but there is some of that in there as well. But the stuff that gave science fiction a really great respect for the ideas it came up with, these are in here as well. Hopefully I'll show you that when we get to the visual side of it. So this is not just a really good examination and exploration of science fiction cover art, book cover art, but actually there's tons and tons of books to look at here and to look up. So as I said, some of the classics are in here that you already know, but there's some random stuff, some obscure stuff. There's some stuff in here that might spark some curiosity as well. So that's really cool. And because it's done by publisher in here, then you notice which ones you really like as well. I've realised, I knew this before, but this really consolidates the idea that I really like the Corgi books. Those are my favourite vintage science fiction books, I think, the Corgi ones. I like 80s Sphere books as well, but the early stuff, Corgis, the little Corgis are well good. So there's loads of really cool book covers that I've liked in my own collection in there. There's loads of books I've read in here. There's loads of specific editions of books that I like in here that I have. But there's tons of stuff I haven't read, and there's tons of book covers that I really want from books I love that I already have from this book as well. So I'm not really 100% sure how to do the visual side of this video, because there are some people that are really good at just pointing a camera at a book and flicking through, and I haven't really managed to be able to do that properly. I have to prop up the iPad, and it's more difficult to do. So I'm not sure, yeah, I just say one more thing about how big this is. So I'll show you a few examples of the pages to show you how visual it is. So some of the pages are literally, there's a huge introduction that's really, really good, that introduces the context of all of this and says more about the books. But a lot of the pages are literally just examples of this fantastic artwork. So yeah, I'd like to talk about it a bit while I look. So I'll figure out a way of doing this, and then I'll carry on. But I was going to say that this is huge. It's I think I've got the second edition here. Have I got the second edition here? Yes, 400. Yeah, it's 470 odd pages. So the first edition was 456 pages, but now this is extended to slightly bigger. So it's been out a couple of years, but there's a new version that's got even more in it. But it's such a good book. Okay, so you're going to get a little bit of book turning ASMR here. Page turning, not book turning. Page turning ASMR. And you're going to get my hands occasionally in the screen, but this is the best I could do. I think it's not going to be too bad. So so you can see here, this is the introduction. You can see it's quite a cool introduction. It covers a lot of ground as far as the context of where these things come from. And there's an original illustration there, original design that resulted in that cover, which I think is really cool addition to this stuff. And a lot of the covers apparently come from Ryan Hughes's private collection, which I think is really interesting. So you've got lots of pages like this where it's just loads of covers together, but then as it goes on, it kind of breaks down, and you've got full page covers there, like Weedmen there, and you've got these spines bits, which are really nice, because I think one of the aspects of collecting vintage science fiction is because there's a consistency with the publishers in different imprints. You can get a full good effect with having them all lined up together with the spines looking the same. So those are the Badger books, and as it goes through, you know, you've got a sort of a slightly bigger version of that image there, with that image from the Fanthorpe book, Doomed World. It's got the illustrators credited there at the bottom with the date as well. Such a cool book, isn't it? And it just makes you want to get these books. Rodent Mutation, that's one I keep seeing. Don't know if you can see that. Definitely want to get that. The Ultimate Man. I think I've just made it difficult to turn the pages now, moving it. And you can see they're all like grouped together by publisher. Look at that one. So cool. I wanted to do this for Rocket Summer because I think this is what Rocket Summer is all about. It's these great covers, these atmospheric images that we associate with science fiction. Look at that. That's the Uninvited. You can't see that. It's Uninvited by Johnny Muller. Another Johnny Muller one there. I'll just fast forward a little bit, just so I can show you some of these other ones. It's just an endless array of fantastic cover art. And this age of science fiction, this early age of science fiction, the science was pretty basic, and it meant they could write whatever they wanted, and I just loved that. You know, a lot of it was set on Mars or Venus or something like that, and they had no idea what was on those planets, and you can, you know, their imagination could run wild, you know. What's that one? The Mutants Rebel. The Stars Are Ours. So a lot of these books you may not have heard of, but there are some famous ones there. You've got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde there. That, Mission to the Stars, that ends up being used again for one of the issues of City with the dog on added to the cover. What's that? The Robot Brains. That's The Other Foot by Damon Knight. I read that a few years back. Really cool. Look, there's a Dandelion Wine there. Oh, sorry, Golden Apples of the Sun. Fahrenheit 441, Silver Locust. You got some Ray Bradbury there. Earth Abides. You got some really famous ones there. Look. There's The Shores of Space by Richard Matheson, one of my favourite books. There's some books that I recognise. I've got some of these actually. Sands of Mars, Arthur C. Clarke. Anthony Burgess, Clockwork Orange. Those are Pan books. Those are Pan books as well. Out of the Silent Planet, look. It's such a fascinating run through the different publishers' styles as well, the way they want to set out their books. But you can see these awesome covers. In this great book. So there we are, Rayguns and Rocketships. Hopefully I've given you a sense of the book. I think it's really cool. It's a very unique book, I think. And it covers a lot of ground, as I said. It's got some magazine covers as well in there, so I didn't really show that. It's got magazine covers as well as the book covers. But yes, it's well over 400 pages, so there's lots to look at. So yeah, thoroughly recommend it. I thought it was a nice way to start Rocket Summer, and enjoy your vintage science fiction. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Stay curious.
Paint me a picture